Successful Allied troops have landed on the shores of Normandy and are advancing into the German lines. We will then see how that battle develops. The American forces are on our right, as you will see, and the German forces will be moving from the left through the village. And I will advise you, we have now motorcycles coming in. They are the reconnaissance section of this German column. They have just been
thrown overboard.
See how easy it is to roll a motorcycle combination. These combinations are in fact two-wheel drive. The two rear wheels actually power the motorcycle. And now we've got the beginning of this withdrawing German column. There's a Ford truck that's been stopped by the German military policeman and is being advised that the Allies, the Americans, have actually cut the road further ahead. So they're going to have to look for an alternative route around the advancing Americans. They've got to find a way around the American frontline troops in order to catch up with their own forces. So this is a mixed group of vehicles, as you say. These are all genuine World War II German army vehicles. The one that is just being spoken to by the military policeman is a Steyr. It's towing a light anti-tank gun. Pak 75 75mm anti-tank gun, very effective against Allied armour. And that's followed by an Opel Blitz 4x2, standard, pretty well standard German Army 3-ton truck of the period. And followed by a French Renault. The German Army used made extensive use of French military equipment after they had occupied France in 1940. And that is fairly typical French army truck of the period. Nice little Kettenkrad, a half-track motorcycle, usually used for towing light anti-tank guns. And that's followed by a Schwimmwagen, which is a Volkswagen amphibious light vehicle. And one mustn't forget that cyclists were very much used by the German army during World War II. And as we can see, there's a section here on push bikes. Now this column is now endeavouring to find a way around the Americans, and that's why they've been directed off the main road, are now heading what they think will be an alternative route. The reconnaissance section and the military police here guiding the German column. He's halting, the military policeman is holding up a standard German army wand, as they call them, to make it clear to the driver that he must halt. Now we've also got in the middle of the arena a machine gun section setting up. Two men in a foxhole. They have got an MG42 7.92 caliber standard German army machine gun, the late part of the war. Very high rate of fire, very effective weapon. Normally a German infantry section of 10 men would have two of these. giving it extremely heavy firepower for such a small number of troops. You can see the MG42 mounted in the Schwimmwagen, which is just passing us now. Motorcycle reconnaissance troops now starting up and withdrawing. Hopefully amazing. Here is a motorcycle which has overturned. The driver and passenger got out unscathed. He hops on it and starts it up almost as if nothing has happened. Yep, there she goes. Climbs aboard, lets in the clutch, checks to see what his unit are up to. Right, now the machine gun section, who were set up to protect the 3 motorcycle units, are now remounting their machines. And will be heading back towards the column. To make their decisions with the officer commanding the column as to what action to take next. And in fact, I can see already we have got another section of German troops moved in behind the bunker, and if we look far to the left, there's yet a further section moving up, and it looks as though the Germans have decided to attempt to break through the American lines. They've not been able to find a route round, so they're going to have to try and fight their way out. See, the Germans have actually set up their BAK 75 on the far left-hand end, unhitched from its towing tractor, and is right, okay, we have the Americans are now moving in from the right. It's not necessarily a fighting column. We seem to have Jeep, military police Jeep, followed by a GMC 2.5-ton truck, standard US Army transport for equipment, troops, supplies, followed by a Ward La France recovery truck. Now they've clearly come in to recover this American tank, which has been abandoned in front of us. Yep, they're going to try and recover it. Clearly not necessarily aware of the presence of the German column, which has been trapped behind their lines. Yep, they're reversing up to recover the Sherman tank. Actually, for the technical of you, you will notice that I've made an error. It's not actually a Sherman tank. It is a Canadian Ram tank, which is very, very similar to a Sherman tank. And it is indeed in Canadian markings. So clearly, the Canadians have been through here and have managed to, for whatever reason, abandon their Ram tank. And the Americans are going to come in here and recover it for them. Wow! BAK 75's opened fire on the tank and has blown it up. Wow! I think the Germans are becoming slightly aggressive now. Clearly, Americans are now responding. And they fired another anti-tank shell. hit it for a second time. Very accurate, the 75mm pack howitzer. Anti-tank gun. And now the German armoured column is moving in from the left. This is going to cause a bit of trouble for the Americans, because the Americans have not got any heavy anti-tank weapons with them, and we've now got the German armoured column moving in. There's a Stug 3 self-propelled gun moving in on the far side of the arena, and is about to open fire on the Americans. There is an artillery barrage falling on them. There's another Stug 3 or Stug 4 moving in on our left through the ruined village. And we have a German half-track infantry carrier also on our left. Brought up another infantry section. The American section is moving forward, presumably trying to get to those ruined bunkers for some cover. Germans are now occupying the remains of the village and part of the bunkers. The Americans have begun covering fire from 30 caliber machine gun on this jeep in front of us, and also the half-track is now moving in to give covering fire. Both the Americans and the Germans are using half-tracks to provide covering fire for their infantry units. I think we can see in the half-track they're going to be calling up for some reinforcements. The driver is on his radio set. And you can see in the Schrittwagen, the German officer is giving instructions to the infantry units as to where he wants it to position. Americans are now pulling back. Not too surprisingly, the German heavy armour is G42 in the German half-track opening up on the Americans behind the bunker. They're now coming under heavy fire. We have some heavy stuff coming in on the side of the Americans. On your right-hand side, there's a half-track with a anti-aircraft gun mounted in the rear, 50 caliber gun, mainly used for anti-aircraft, as I say, but actually extremely effective against ground troops. German reinforcements coming in on the left. This is going to put the Germans and the Americans in a difficult position. At the moment it looks as though the Americans are... we've lost a man. And two men down. Another one's hopped into the shell hole. And we see they're using the bunker for cover. Half-track is causing these American infantry some serious difficulties, just reloading again. Right, the medic is taking advantage of the half-track having stopped firing to get in and tend the wounded in the shell hole. Oh. He's down. We've now got a group. Looks as though the half-track's been hit. A lot of smoke pouring out from underneath the armoured cover for the engine. Now we've got some serious stuff on the right. M18 75mm self-propelled anti-tank gun, tracked anti-tank gun, along with 2 more half-tracks. Now we've got the M18 taking on, and has indeed hit the Stug 4. So the Germans are now down 2 armoured vehicles, and we've got this serious American reinforcements coming in. 2 white half-tracks with infantry sections with them, using the half-tracks as cover, along with the M18. Now we've got some very heavy firepower now coming in on the American side. Wounded are withdrawing. Oh, the medic was trying to get forward but was hit. I think the Americans are now trying to outflank the Germans by coming round the Germans' right flank, which is 50 caliber machine gun in the back of the half track, putting some very heavy fire down on the Germans in the village. Another medic going forward to tend wounded. Germans looking doubtful as to what their next move is going to be. They've lost some heavy armour. Heavy M18's moving in. It's looking. Stug 3 is pulling out. Backing out the German self-propelled gun. One of the problems with the self-propelled gun was you had to manoeuvre the whole vehicle to point it at your target. But it did provide a very low profile and a difficult target to hit. Now, the heavy caliber, 50 caliber here, giving covering fire from the infantry to move up behind the M18. German paratrooper running forward to get into a more advanced foxhole, but I think, yep. The Americans are using their semi-automatic Garand rifles, carrying eight rounds. As opposed to the German Army's KAR-98K, which was a 5-shot, single-shot rifle. The American Garand was an 8-shot semi-automatic. Pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger. And after the 8 shots, you have to reload with a clip of another 8 shots. The Americans also armed with the Thompson submachine gun. So we may be getting some air support coming in over on our right. Yep, the Germans are now really under pressure to pull right back. I think indeed we have some air support here from a Hurricane. My poor sight can work that out. now. The Americans are now mopping up. The German troops have got into their foxholes and their shell holes. It's effectively a mopping up operation. See the officer in charge waving forward the half track. Go round on the other flank. Yep. Yeah, he wants him. Wants the two half tracks pulled forward to give support to the infantry with their heavy machine guns. The Germans are now pulling right back. The Germans are still hanging on there. They really do absolutely like it was in 1944. The Germans fought very, very hard, even when they're under enormous pressure. Exactly what's happening here. See, the Germans are trying to man the Tank 75. It looks as though they might be trying to take on these half tracks which are advancing towards them. Certainly there's a crew down there. The M18 was also known as the Hellcat. The Americans christened all their armoured vehicles, tanks and self-propelled guns. They all had a name. These were called. This is M18 was a Hellcat. Very effective weapon. Open top turret. It's not a tank. It's actually a self-propelled anti-tank gun. I think the Germans are still there behind their anti-tank gun, but it's beginning to be just a mopping up operation now. Yes, the Americans are rounding up prisoners. Still some resistance in the far corner. Yep, that concludes our battle reenactment for this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think both sides have fought well and given you a very realistic demonstration of 1944. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well done. With the Germans withdrawn, the Americans can now recover what's left of the Canadian Ram tank, although I'm not quite sure the Canadians would want it back in that condition.
Daar is het een plank.